Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, as you can see, there is a deep amount of despair in my eyes because I just read something that genuinely just... You know, it's Monday and you wake up and you're just like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm starting another week, and I know that's probably not the healthiest mentality, but hey, at least I'm being honest. I got sent this article that's titled, Ariana Grande's, I don't fucking care, it doesn't matter. Thank You Next music video is surprisingly anti-queer. I'm gonna pause here. Now, if you're somewhere where you can't scream into the void, just yawn or pretend to yawn and pretend sound is coming out, like this. Let's get into this article. Now, to be clear, I think Thank You Next is the only song of Ariana's that I've listened in its entirety. Like, I'm not a stan, I'm not a hater, it's just not really my type of music. So I only watched the video for the purpose of this video, just to try and see if I could spot some anti-queerness, which, plot twist, I didn't. Now, some of you are probably gonna be like, of course you didn't, you don't think anything's anti-queer, which is not true, but the whole premise of Ariana's video is that she is recreating scenes from typical 90s-ish, you know, early 2000s movies. So none of this is inherently anti-queer. It's recreating movies that weren't anti-queer or racist as much as they were reflecting the mentality of the time. If we had to make a movie today, we probably wouldn't be able to say anything because someone would fucking cry about it. So whatever, I'm gonna get started, I'm already complaining. So there's a little introductory paragraph that I'm not gonna read because this is already a long article. So it says, while this song is actually dedicated to Ariana's past boyfriends, the music video makes a surprising ode to her queer followers. Unfortunately, not all representation is good, and our music video failed to support the basic dignity of queer and trans people. Laden with trans misogyny, anti-queer jokes, and blackface, the video allows Ariana's white feminist awakening through a celebrity-laden nod to several cult classics. Here's a breakdown of what happened. The video takes place at a typical suburban, white/wealthy high school. It begins with a confessional homage to Mean Girls, detailing fictional Queen Bee, Ariana's influence over her peers' lives, and the rumors they heard about her. It is unclear if Ariana is supposed to be the superficial antagonist of the video, like Regina George in Mean Girls, or if she's attempting to portray underdog Katie Heron, who resists the plastic's normativity. Just 16 seconds into the video, trans viewers may be stunned to see a cisgender man, Ariana's backup dancer Scott Nicholson, in a bright pink cardigan and wig, playing a trans woman. We're already supposed to laugh at him for his feminine mannerisms. Okay, so first of all, I'm offended that you claimed he was trans. What do you know? Maybe he's, I don't know, gender non-binary. Maybe he's trans. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's just someone who likes to wear women's clothes and wigs. How dare you assign a title to him when you don't know what he identifies as? My interpretation, I might be wrong, feel free to drag me in the comments, but my interpretation was that she was clearly Regina George because she was like the popular cool girl, and we see Katie Heron wearing the big polo, so it's clear she's not Katie Heron. Am I missing something? Immediately after, gay singer/actor Troye Sivan, never know how to pronounce his name either, repeats a rumor. I heard she's a lesbian now and dating some chick called Aubrey. It's fucking sick. Lesbians. Hilarious, right? The reference comes from Apple Music mistranslating a lyric because her name is Aubrey instead of Ari, which led people to think she was referencing another woman. Some commentators accused her of queerbaiting with the potentially misleading lyrics. Others commended it for being empowering. She was so offended at the very thought of having a woman as her lover, she even addressed it at the very beginning of her music video. This is such a reach. Like, I think they're making fun of the meme that it is that Apple Music mistranslated it. Also, hello, do we remember what Mean Girls was like? There was the whole thing of, why are you so obsessed with me? So this kind of theme of, is someone straight, are they not? And the fact that it's a gay singer or actor saying it, to me, it just indicates that it's satirical, that it's sarcastic, that it's not actually serious. That's why they got a gay character to say it, because it's like, it's so ridiculous to say this that we're gonna get a gay guy to do it, because that's even more ridiculous. I can't believe we're dwelling on a music video. I think that the most tragic thing here is that they're taking these small moments that are tongue-in-cheek and they're trying to act like they're entirely serious. This is a video based on 90s, 2000s types of young adult movies. Like, it's not that deep. This is not laden with serious messages. So then it says, Ariana doesn't enter until the music starts, a smooth beat clearly influenced by R&Bs juxtaposed with her opening her burn book simply titled Thank You Next. Then you finally see it, the blackface. This may not be the type of blackface you see in old minstrel shows, but a new form we frequently view in pop culture. As New York University Performance Studies master's student An Vo writes, contemporary blackface no longer involves minstrelsy, burnt cork, or grease paint to blacken the performer's skin, but instead makeup, foundation, artificial tanning, and digital coloring are employed to play with racial mythologies and to exploit what blackness signifies. I would like to know what it is that blackness signifies. Just curious, because this writer is acting like we all know, like I'm not in on the secret. So what does blackness signify? They literally take a picture of Ariana from, what was that show, Victorious, I think? And a screenshot from her in a dimly lit room, so her skin automatically looks darker. Of course, she's darker than in that picture generally because she's tan now, I'd say. But taking a picture from a dimly lit room, like I'd look darker in a dimly lit room even if I'm a fucking ghost. Aside from that, I thought that the whole thing of being like spray tanned goes with the whole Barbie image of Regina George, so it's not inconsistent with the movie either. I feel like this person watched the video looking for something wrong with it. I'm pretty sure if they just watched this video without any preconceived ideas, they probably wouldn't have found anything wrong with it. As she reflects on her past boyfriends, her skin varies in shade scene to scene in a horrifying transformation, highlighting how little she cares about communities of color. As the lyrics continue, it becomes clear she only cares about herself. Plus, I met someone else, we having better discussions. I know I can say I move on too fast, but this one gonna last because her name is Ari and I'm so good with that. The individualistic sentiment could be empowering for the white, cisgender, straight feminists who are represented in the video. Of course, this is at the expense of queer people, trans women, and people of color. So you're saying that she only cares about herself because she says that she's the only person she needs, which is a very healthy way to live your life, because if you act like you need to have a boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, wife, whatever, to live a complete life, then you probably have some things you need to figure out. She's saying that you don't need that shit. You can have it if you want, but you should feel complete on your own, which I think is a completely healthy message. And it also speaks to the fact that sometimes selfishness, or what people label as selfishness, is really self-preservation and taking care of yourself first, which is an important thing to do, because if you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of other people. You know, like I don't really understand the bearing here of whiteness, because the whole message is you're enough for yourself and you don't need to necessarily have someone there to make you feel good about yourself. I don't know how this is at the expense of queer people, trans women, and people of color. It's a reach. It's a reach. Ariana walks through the halls as the queen bee of her clique. She rolls her eyes at Nicholson in drag, who seems happy to just have her attention. She then pushes Sivan into the lockers. He clutches his books, happy that she even touched him. Queer people are apparently glad to be disrespected so long as it's by someone as popular as Ariana. Her role in the movie is to be a bully. She's gonna fucking roll her eyes at everyone. She's gonna push everyone. She's gonna tell everyone she thinks they're pretty to just be like, oh, so you think you're pretty? That is the role. That's the point. That's the character. I feel like I need to lie down. Okay. Then Ariana descends into a cheerleading sequence where we see her and her all-white team methodically cheering in patriotic red, white, and blue in tribute to the Toros from Bring It On. Her rival cheerleading team, which is all black, dances in Pan-African green, gold, and red in tribute to Bring It On's East Compton Clovers. They then join with Ariana's white team in the white version of cheering. The two teams soon face off, attempting to intimidate one another. While the outfits are identical to those used in Bring It On, the important points of the cult film, such as cultural appropriation and solidarity, are lost. Ariana and her team are not explicitly seen as villains or anti-heroes, but rather the protagonists. Now, some of you are gonna kill me, but I've never seen Bring It On, so I'm gonna look at what the cast looks like. As I guessed, it's some real bullshit, because, okay, so here I have a picture of Bring It On, the first one that comes up. I'm assuming it's the cover, or it's a picture from IMDb, and there's literally white chicks on one side and black chicks on the other side. So again, completely in line with the movie. So that allegation was some real bullshit.
I also want to know, how do you know they're white and they're not just white passing?
The video quickly cuts to several new sequences and references, including the famous dollhouse scene from 13 Going on 30 and the dog walking sequence from Legally Blonde. Finally, it lands to a cut in the music in one of the more explicitly anti-queer scenes. Ariana tells her beautician she misses Pete Davidson. He was really cute and it was really big. Coolidge confirms that they were discussing teeth and not penises. They were definitely discussing penises. I've only gone out with one guy that had a big front tooth. I liked it, but have you ever gone out with someone with no teeth at all? Ariana quickly replies no with a smirk. Queerness, in this case, is used as nothing more as a dry comedic prop. Ariana at this point not only responds to rumors about her sexuality just once, but twice in the video. She emphasizes her heterosexuality as a point of pride and empowerment. There's a difference between saying heterosexuality is the only right thing and if you're something else, you're a degenerate, compared to just being okay with being heterosexual. There's a difference. In no place here did she say or imply, I'm heterosexual, and if you're not, well, you're a piece of shit. She literally is just okay with being heterosexual, so she said she misses Pete Davidson. What's the big deal? I'm kind of surprised you didn't get mad at her for shaming people that don't have teeth at this point. As Ariana backs away from Coolidge's beauty counter, the music continues. We see the beauty salon filmed with visibly queer beauticians and white cisgender clients. They dance with her inflated styles, influenced by black queer performers. As the video cuts between the different past scenes of the video, the queer men soon disappear from the beauty parlor, only leaving the presumably straight woman. The queer men are replaceable to the video's director. They are not agents in the story, which is that of white women reclaiming their individual self-esteem. But seriously, like, I hate how people are always screaming about, you don't know what someone identifies as, blah, blah, blah. And this whole article that is extremely out of touch with reality is getting mad because they're assuming things about Ariana's intentions, which they don't have any confirmation for. It's a little bit strange and contradictory if you ask me. But I digress. So just because the queer men disappear from the parlor, only leaving presumably straight women, so what? Don't you think that if she really was against queer people, she wouldn't include any of them? And if she really was racist, which is kind of the implication with the blackface and all that, why would she include black people? I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. You might say, oh yeah, she's including black people to look like she's not racist, but really deep down she's racist. To which I say, I don't really think so. However, as the cuts speed up, one of the beauticians who reads as a queer man of color reappears in the video. He ogles a muscular UPS package delivery man from behind in a short frame, reminiscent of the overused queer predator trope. The delivery man finally decides to dance with Coolidge, a reference to her character in Legally Blonde dating a UPS delivery man. Okay, so a queer man of color checks out another dude. Sound the alarms. That's probably never ever happened. Like, I don't get what the big deal is. Like, so what? You're saying that queer men can think other men are attractive. Where's the lie? I feel like my last brain cell is just fighting for its life right now. After the music ends, it cuts to Kris Jenner, who plays Ariana's mom. She simply shouts out, "Thank you, next bitch," while holding a camera, the final line of the music video. As bitch is generally directed at women and thank you next is in reference to relationships, this is likely aimed at Caitlyn Jenner. She divorced Caitlyn in 2015, shortly after her transition. Perhaps this is a reference to Caitlyn's far-right politics. Perhaps it's a jab at her trans identity. We can't be sure unless Kris Jenner speaks out about the line. Regardless, there is something questionable about ending such a virulently anti-queer, trans-misogynistic video with a complaint about a trans woman. Okay, so just because Kris Jenner said thank you next, this writer interpreted it as a fuck you to trans women because she connected it to Caitlyn Jenner. So do you really think that Kris Jenner came in being like, hey, Ariana, you know, I want to say a fuck you to Caitlyn Jenner, but I don't really know how to go about it. Do you have any ideas? And then Ariana's like, sure, have the last closing line in my video and say thank you next, bitch. Everyone knows bitch is about women and transgender women. I mean, really. We need to stop labeling women as gay icons because they give us the bare minimum representation. Visibility is not enough, especially when we can have such a negative impact on our lives. The video features queer, trans, and people of color characters as props while centering on one of the world's biggest pop stars in blackface. We cannot fully blame Ariana for these mishaps. She likely had some agency over the work, but the video was made through a large team. Someone had to notice these issues, yet it wasn't enough to stop them. Breathin's Hannah Lux directed the video alongside producer Brandon Bonfiglio. There were an unknown number of other contributors, only some of whom were featured on the video's IMDb page. Thank You Next is entertaining, the kind of entertainment we should be horrified about. If nothing else, we should gawk in horror at minstrelsy, anti-queer sentiment, and racism that is so prevalent in the video. If people begin to speak out, then we may be better equipped to hold entertainers who fail to have basic respect for people of color, trans women, and queer people accountable in the future. You know, I really like giving credit where credit's due, but this entire article is based on assumption. There is no actual evidence to prove that these connections are concrete and should be listened to, because this is an overly analytical writer looking for something wrong with the video. Like I said, I have no vested interest in defending Ariana or hating on her because, like I said, neutral, don't really care. So it's just mind-boggling to me that someone would go to this length and write this novel-length article trying to discredit a video that's really not supposed to be that deep and that's supposed to reference the movies we listed. So honestly, I think that if we can really draw anything from this video, it's the fact that this person is calling this minstrelsy and racist and anti-queer and trans is offensive. And if you want to, like, I don't like saying that I'm offended, but it's offensive because real racism happens every day and people are denied basic respect, basic human rights because of their skin color. That happens. And that's very serious. And the people who have experienced that type of shit, I'm pretty sure they're not here on their keyboards being like, oh my God, I'm so offended. This is so racist. Blah. No. Because people know that real racism happens, real trans misogyny happens. Like, all of these things are incredibly serious, and the fact that people keep throwing these words around is diluting the meaning. It's not important or viewed as important anymore, because if you say that everything's racist, then nothing's racist. So we need to call out real racism when we see it, not this bullshit. Thank you so much for listening to my little rant if you're still here. Thank you to my patrons as always. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'm really curious to know if, like, we're all on the same page or if you see it differently, and I'll catch you guys next time.